see rock shows near Tampa. Get tickets as low as $20,000. You might also like Napa, the problematic. News time is running out. Falling away with you. Don't let yourself down. Don't let yourself go. Your last chance has arrived. Best, you've got to be the best. You've got to change the world and use this chance to be heard. Your time is now. Your time is now. I stay alive. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole, the old familiar stain. Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. I wear this crown of spit upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot forget. Beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else, I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. If I could start again, a million miles away, I would keep myself, I would find a way. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. If I could start again, a million miles away, I would keep myself, I would find a way. You could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down, I will make you hurt. If I could start again.
Welcome, my friends, to XboxEra. If you're new here, let me fill you in. XboxEra is a platform for the Xbox community with best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and of course, XboxEra.com, your destination for the best news, reviews, and features, all focused on your favourite platform, Xbox. It's every Xbox fan's gateway to the best of XboxEra. Our incredible podcasts listened to in over 50 countries worldwide, our in-depth reviews, our own merch store for the coolest in gaming threads, and of course Dayone, where you can track, rate and discuss your favourite games on Xbox Game Pass. We're a small, agile and independent publication, and importantly, we're completely funded by you. If you value having a publication truly focused on your preferred place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. The Xbox Era podcast is only made possible by the support of our amazing community, and in particular our legendary and growing army of Patreon supporters. Our executive producers: Top, The Scarecrow 121, Peter B, Not Jack, Mohammed Sherez, Kevin S, Korkenstein, Jordan White, Jordan Andau, Frankie C, Terran H, and Britt. Our amazingly generous grand benefactors who take their support and dedication to Xbox Era to another level. Crowd56, an assassin. And then there's our boss, our leader, our shining light in times of darkness, the one and only Xbox Era's CEO, Torn Raptor. You guys are all fucking awesome. If you enjoy the content Xbox Era produce and want more of it, and you're not a patron, consider heading over to patreon.com/Xbox Era, pledge your support, and get cool swag in return. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Xbox Era Headlines. The date is October 1st. That's right. It's the last quarter of the year. The race is on. I'm Sicker Mechanico, and today Jesse and I will be taking you through all of the latest in gaming news from across the industry. There's not much, so we'll drag this out as best we can, but expect things to be a little bit more.
There is one I didn't put in there because I didn't really see a story about it, but it does seem like the PlayStation Network has been down for over 12 hours.
Oof. Well, we'll talk about that. Obviously, as a bonus for our wonderful and incredible Patreon community, we make audio versions of these episodes available for them to listen to in the Patreon app. But if they connect to their Spotify account, they can listen to it there instead, which is very nice. If you want to become an Xbox Era patron member, which guaranteed is the absolute best way to support our fiercely independent publication, you can do so by heading to patreon.com/Xbox Era. Hi, Jesse.
Hello.
Long sesh for you yesterday. Long old streaming Starfield-y sesh.
But much like this right here from J-Duds gifting 5 YouTube memberships. Congratulations,
Boom.
Alvin, Brian Buccelli, The Arcane, The Game Prophet, and Joser. Congrats.
Nice.
Thank you very much, J-Duds. We got a couple of patrons during said incredibly long
I was
segment. There. Yeah. And they both did the year thing, too, so it's not like $3 and gone. They were just...
Wow, a whole year?
Yeah, for both.
It's worth mentioning to both new patrons and these brand new YouTube members that having access as a membership to either gets you access to the Patreon Lounge, which is basically the Cool Kids Club in the Xbox Era community Discord. So head to discord.gg/Xbox Era. If you're a patron, you also get access to the Patreon Lounge on our forums, which is forum.xboxera.com. Yeah, it's good times. You get to ask community questions and stuff, and basically make me stay up later on a podcast night on a Saturday. It's great. Who wouldn't want that? Just punish me more. But yes, Starfield Shattered Space is out. It's out in the wild. You spent literally 12 hours no lifing that stuff from dawn till dusk.
Multiple people in the thread or, for in the comment section on YouTube tried to say, this guy hasn't beaten it. It's like, you can literally go on our channel.
You can go watch my stream.
Watch 7 hours and see, oh, you're right at the very end. Like, it only took me another hour and a half to finish it off. I didn't realize it. I probably would have on stream. But I had to go make and have dinner. Which wouldn't have been a fun thing to watch. But yeah, no, I played it. It's, if you full on just focus on the main story and don't do any side stuff or exploration, which is the worst way to play a Bethesda game, 5 to 7 hours just for the main campaign itself. Obviously a big part of Bethesda titles, and Starfield, especially more than ever in this one, is you land in one area and you never have to leave that area if you don't want to. And everything is in this giant space. And I know people say, oh, it's only one little thing instead of the whole planet. Well, it's like the actual size of the places you land in Starfield is like the size of the Skyrim map. It was just not densely packed. for most of the time. This area is very densely packed, very pretty. I know some people got annoyed that I didn't go into super detail on everything in the game in the review, but it's like I already have that with the 5,000 plus word base game review. This was just how did I feel playing it, and I loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It's a really good story. You can be kind of full on evil if you want, in a way you were never truly able to in the base campaign. Like you can side with bad people and have bad things happen if you so choose. In this story that takes you to Varun Kai, which is the home of House of Varun. They were the more eclectic, less known about, secretive house, like one of the main 3 factions in the original game. So they were doing some science shenanigans. It went real bad, and then half of their population and half their city instantly got killed. So that is real bad. Like that whole area you see in the center with the big blue bubble, it was like their Capitol building, essentially, the scaled citadel, and like everything around it just got vaporized. So it's like,
wow. Ooh. I mean, I have to admit, and I'm seeing similar comments in the chat, especially from, and I want to call it out here, Abdul114. The DLC reminded me of how much I actually love Starfield. The toxic discourse kind of destroyed it for me, not going to lie. Mm-hmm. Similarly, I was watching you play and I was seeing everybody like getting super excited in the chat yesterday's stream about Starfield and Chat and Space. And I was like, oh man, I never did finish it. Like I pumped in 60 odd hours, must be at this point, and I was like, okay, maybe. And I loaded it all back up, and then before you know it, 3 hours had gone by, and I've been playing Starfield. And then more amazing people came by and just gifted even more YouTube memberships. Thank you very much, J Duds,
with another 5 gifted subs for Abdel114, Rod Johnson, Mr. Neo, RRD, and Not in the Kitchen. Congrats.
Wow.
I do think this is also a lot of people coming back to Starfield probably after playing through what they had around launch and just seeing how much it's improved, especially graphically. With if you've got an OLED, I think it's the best OLED game. It's right up there with Cyberpunk.
It's gorgeous.
The crushed blacks, the raised black levels where it never truly got black on an OLED especially, was very noticeable after the change. Like I was like, oh, it still looks fine. But no, the amount of work they've done to this, all the stuff they've added, especially this rover, which you get if you just go to any of the shipwrights at a Star Yard, and they just sell to you for free. It's actually really fun to use, drives well, can go pretty much up anything. They just said screw it. If the gravity isn't too heavy, you can just boost your way up the side of a mountain.
That's pretty cool.
They've lent, I think, a bit more into the arcadey, just for fun side of things, where like they want to keep it realistic, but this is an expansion that is very, very sci-fi.
Classic Bethesda.
Yeah, there's a lot of sci-fi magic in it, but it's steeped more in that Starfield. There's an explanation for how and what it is. Maybe not exactly how it works, but you know what is going on. The actual area, so you land at Dazra, which is the capital city of Varun Kai, and then everything either takes place in it or around it. And there is a lot of stuff around it. I wouldn't be shocked if going around and clearing every area and doing every side quest and all that's a solid 20 hours, if not more, depending on if... Like, it never opened anything else up on the planet. Like, everything was centered around Dazra. I am curious if it would ever send you anywhere else, because I landed on the planet and I never left it, and I was just there for the entire, like, 10 hours I played it. I never left that area, which was very different for Starfield, which was really focused on you going around and exploring and jumping from planet to planet and getting all those loading screens that everyone got mad at. You still will get loading screens here when you're going into a building or something, but unless your save file is enormous on Xbox, or if you have any type of decent PC, they're like 3 seconds. It's not bad.
Yeah, the only weird thing that I encountered yesterday was just before I reinstalled Starfield and everything, and boom, it all came to life. Then it went to sync my save, and it took 20 minutes. You know, normally you get that little box that says syncing now, and it goes, whoop. This was a slow
They're
bar filling up
surprisingly
20 odd
big, and I
minutes.
think everyone was doing it because both the patch download and everything. Like, if you downloaded a different game, it was fine. But I think so many people were hitting those files on Xbox that the patch actually took me quite a while on Xbox. It was going like 100 megabit instead of the 900 I had downloaded everything else at. So I enjoyed the hell out of it, but I also enjoyed the base game. It's not going to change your mind if you did not like the base game. It's not going to change anything for you. It's just, I do think if you like the base game but really wanted something more focused and less jumpy around and more, I'm in this area and now I'm just going to go explore this area, it will be more for you in that. But you have to have liked the base game because it doesn't change
It
a
magically
ton.
change the game.
Yeah, you can mod the hell out of it if you want, because most mods still seem to be working, which is a testament to how much better they've gotten at supporting them, because they've always supported them, but people would always get mad if they patched the game to fix stuff because it would break all their mods. This one seems okay for the most part, which is always nice, because I had a bunch, and I had one bug where, and you saw it at the beginning of the stream, for some reason it just did not want to load me in on a star station to start with. So I jumped to a save that was roughly half an hour earlier on a planet, and it worked fine. After that, I didn't have any major issues outside of accidentally locking myself into one mission objective. That was an evil thing I didn't want to do, so I just hopped back and redid that mission real quick.
Ah, right.
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
like, you've got to kill this person. It's like, I don't want to. I didn't realize saying what I said was going to make me do that. But then I just went back and said, I'm not making a decision right now. And then I got the choice. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna kill them. Screw you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's funny, right? Because I was chatting yesterday with some friends after you'd finished streaming, and I was playing Starfield, waiting for someone to get online so we could do 3-player Space Marine 2, which I also adore. But like, Starfield is such a freaking good looking game. Now, my buddy had played through, I think he's level 104. So he's done a few new game pluses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just bought a new PC like last month. So he's now got an all singing, all dancing rig. And he was like, he'd only ever played it on Xbox back before the 60 FPS patch and all of that stuff.
And probably before.
And he was like, is it going to look amazing? Am I going to be blown away? So we sat there, we were chatting. I was playing, he downloaded it. His reaction, loading it up on his OLED, running on a PC, running at 120 FPS. He was just like, oh my God, he couldn't believe. And I have to admit, you mentioned Cyberpunk as something like faces and stuff like that in Starfield are kind of
They're not that great. You know what's funny? They're not that good in Cyberpunk either. That is one of the only areas. It's one of the only areas Cyberpunk is really behind, like a Horizon or some of the like
years. But it's the textures and the lighting and the general art direction that just come together as a cohesive sense of place. And I think Starfield, if you take the faces out of the equation, is one of the most gorgeous looking games generally. Like, just anywhere you look, it's pretty fantastic looking.
And a lot of the Varun Kai residents' faces just seem to emote a lot better. I don't know if they've changed stuff, but outside of the eyes still not moving enough, like the face muscles and everything are more noticeable than I remember them being. It doesn't feel like the bottom half's moving and nothing's moving up here, like their eyebrows and everything move a lot.
Yeah.
Just the basics. But
it's good shit. It's such a great game, and it is a shame that it, for some reason, like half of the gaming industry got this weird hate boner for it. And let's all be honest about what it is, right? It's not necessarily console warring that made it feel that way. What it is SEO. SEO made Starfield one of the most toxic subjects. Like, outside of commentary and stuff like that, big sites, little sites, any site that had the opportunity to post a Starfield article, even ones that did not like the game, would do it because it got loads of clicks and it incited all of the console warring rage bait that you see in the comment section, and that made them money. And it's such a shame that it became victim of that and couldn't just
and we'll have to
be
say,
a video game.
It's not to say that there aren't problems. There definitely are issues, like with every game. It's just Starfield became I can't say I like this unless I also immediately say something negative. It's like, yeah, I know it's got a lot of problems and it's not the best, but I really loved my 100 hours with it. But you always have to prep. Like, even I was watching Greg Miller, who loves the game, and he was streaming it yesterday and loving it. But there's always this feeling that you have to say to people that, yeah, I know it's not good, but I like it. It's like, I've never seen it before. It's like, it's the weirdest thing with this one. But yeah, I love the hell out of it. I've put, I don't know, 200 hours into Starfield, which, for me is hard because of how much we do here on the site. Just love the hell out of it. I will, later in the week, it's a Xbox expansion week for me. I'll also, after today, probably not much. Well, I'll try. I might stream tomorrow. I'm pretty far ahead. I've already rolled credits on Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, so keep an eye out for that one. We'll see if they go 2 for 2 with putting out solid expansions or not. But I think Starfield's great. Now, if you only care about the main story, I don't know that the price of $30 is worth it if you're not going to do the other stuff. But also, like, if you're into Starfield, I don't think that's most people. I think most people who are into Bethesda RPGs are going to want to go do everything. Like, that's really the point of them. At least do a lot of different stuff and not just one or two things. Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it. Starfield does not get enough credit for just how good the engine is. In fact, it only gets negative credit because people don't like the way they choose to do stuff. But I think the actual engine for Creation Engine 2 gives some of the best material work, has the best lighting, and the best physics I've seen compared to almost anything. And that gets overlooked. Like, the physics system in this game, like when we were in zero gravity and I'm just picking people up and flinging them, and everything they hit and them flying and all that, it's all absolutely perfect every time. Like, the physics so rarely break in this, which is crazy because the physics broke all the time before. I don't know. It's a game that I was hoping would be good, and I was very pleasantly surprised that it was great. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. It's good times. I'm going to get stuck in literally as soon as we finished headlines today. I'm probably going to boot up some Starfield, and I was considering streaming some Space Marine 2 later on because we're playing it on hard or very hard. But I'll be honest, people. The two guys that I would play with, been friends with them for 28 years. They're going to say something that would just get me in trouble. So we're not going to. It's literally
that to the Discord.
Yeah, maybe. But yes, there you go. Starfield Shattered Space is out now. If you have the premium edition of Starfield, so you bought the early access edition that came with the soundtrack, etc., you have that automatically. If you want to buy it, I believe it's 10% off with your Game Pass Ultimate subscription. And you can pick it up, install it, and play it today. I think, Jesse, as always, your review is the first one out.
Yeah.
Which is great. So congrats on making the effort there.
I might have been able to procure one so far, Starfield Premium Edition that I'll be giving away during the Extra Life charity stream on November 2nd. That's November 2nd, 2024. It's our 4th annual Extra Life charity stream. Be going all day for the Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital of Clearwater, Florida, which will really need it, especially if we're about to get hit with yet another hurricane that's forming. Who knows? We'll see. Hey.
Oh, God.
It's like the ocean's getting super hot, and that makes more giant hurricanes.
No, don't be silly. I've seen snowballs in Congress. It's not real. All right. Next up in the news, Microsoft this morning, or this afternoon for me, announced their first wave of Game Pass editions, and they have changed things up a little bit. So they have dropped and announced there are 3 new titles coming to the service in Wave 1 for October 2024. They are Sifu, which is arriving tomorrow on Cloud Console and PC, Mad Streets, which is arriving on Cloud Console PC on October 7th, and Inscription, which is the deck-building roguelite puzzle escape academy type thing that I kind of really want to try, releasing on October 10th. That is coming to the service. But then there are 2 titles that are joining the standard tier of Game Pass, which doesn't get day one games at launch. So that tier of Game Pass is getting MLB The Show 24 on console and Open Roads, both tomorrow, October 2nd. Leaving the platform on October 15th are Dyson Sphere program on PC, Everspace 2 on cloud console and PC, From Space on cloud console and PC, F1 Manager 2023 on all of those platforms, and Scorn. They're all leaving the service. Nick, special Nick, our Nick, he reviewed Sifu back at launch and said it was a fantastic game and he loves it. So you should probably check it out if it's coming to Game Pass and you haven't played it yet, for sure. I really want to check out Inscription and might have to bug Devolver for some review code for the Xbox version.
I do have Inscription.
Have you played it? Is it? Will I like it, or am I going to bounce right off that shit?
I don't know. It's not a Balatro like deck builder. It is a more slower paced story. Like there is a story to it. It's not super story focused, but you are stuck in this room with a real weird guy and you're trying to like kind of play your way out. It's very good. I liked it quite a bit, but I honestly don't know if it's going to grab you or not.
Okay.
You got weird taste. Sometimes you like good things, sometimes you don't.
Hey, well, I mean, I'm willing to give it a go, but yes, I mean, right now, I have just wrapped up what I'm reviewing next, so I just need to write that up and make the video and stuff. But it's given me a bit of a gap. But I'm just conscious we've got MechWarrior 5 Clans coming in. We've got Starship Troopers Extermination, and they're both coming in around the same time, and they're both fairly lengthy multiplayer games.
Is
so
Clans
I'm like,
going to be a game preview, or is it like early access, or is it a full release?
No, this is a 1.0 release. This is a consoles and PC release.
With the
so I'm hoping
you have already played a bunch of it, so you just need a good night.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Good night and some good footage captured.
And if you really like it, just play it even more. But outside of that, but if they're coming in roughly same time, or if they're coming out roughly same time, you should have Clans earlier, because Clans would be before, and Extermination will be at launch.
Yeah, Extermination is when? October 11th
or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it rings a bell. That rings a bell.
Yeah, they won't have any. It's in that game. There will be no early reviews for that one, as far as I know, unless you just played the shit out of it on PC and feel fine ignoring version 1.0, because it's been in early access, but it's also a 16-player co-op game, and it needs 16 people. 16 like it's not fun without it. It is a base builder where it's very basic base building and then horde wave fighting. It's just a lot of fun because it's very over the top and stupid in a Helldiverish way, but without being as talky, I guess.
Yeah. I would say it definitely feels a little bit more PC. I'm trying to think of the correct way to say this, and there probably isn't one. It feels more PC jank in its early access iteration, whereas Helldivers felt very polished at launch. You know, it still had a little bit of jank, but it was mostly
Helldivers did have
solid.
7 years of development,
dev.
So
yeah,
and was a sequel. But
Navy Shadow in the chat is just pointing out that all 5 are on standard according to.
None of these
Xbox
are. Well, is one of them a day one launch? I think Mad Streets is the only actual day one. It would be weird if that one was standard. I'll double check.
So they've really made it overly complicated. Yeah, Mad Streets is on standard. It's Inscription is on standard, and Sifu is
Mad Streets not day one? I have no
standard.
idea.
Yeah, so it's only Open Roads and MLB The Show that are just standard, and not the other ones, I think.
Yeah, because they weren't already out. They were day one games. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Navy Shadow. We will adjust our talking points accordingly. Just a heads up as well for people watching right now, if you could hit that like button, it does help us out and we appreciate it. The algorithm thanks you and the Emperor protects.
Man, where is this Mad Streets game? I want to look it up real quick. Mad Streets.
Mad Streets.
Come out? I think they might all be standard because they're all out. Yeah, Mad Streets came out in 2022. So they are all standard because not one of them is day one. So that's it. Nice and basic thing. It's not complicated, John. If it's a day one launch, it doesn't go in.
Yeah, I know, but also...
No. Get used to this for a couple years until they drop standard and everything, because they just have Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Because you know what, they're just gonna have Game Pass Ultimate the moment you can play PC games on their platform. That'll be it.
Yeah.
It'll just be Ultimate, because it makes no sense otherwise.
Yeah.
And
You're probably right.
Ultimate will not include multiplayer, because multiplayer will have to go, because otherwise everyone would just choose the PC version of a game over theirs.
Exactly. Yeah. Next gen.
Yeah,
No more
so
paying for multiplayer.
all in standard, because none are day one. Black Ops 6, which will be in Wave 2, definitely not in standard.
Yeah.
It will be in console for those who are grandfathered in, PC and Ultimate.
When does Black Ops come out? October 16th?
For everyone, it's the end of October, like the 20. It's a week early access if you buy the expensive thing or upgrade with Game Pass.
Okay. I'm looking forward to...
very curious. Does Sony or anyone try to complain, hey, they can spend $30 or $40 and upgrade and get it day one with their sub, can't do that with ours? Because you already see like they're not yelling Game Pass from the rooftops and the Activision stuff, because they seem weary of having anyone get mad that they're taking advantage of having bought Activision. But who knows?
Well, I guess we'll find out. What's the plan for reviewing Call of Duty Black Ops 6? Is there already a set plan? Because I don't mind doing the campaign if it's...
Well, see, it depends on what's in or not and when.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do the campaign.
Yeah.
Gyotso was going to do multiplayer and zombies.
Gotcha.
Gyotso.
Okay.
It's really hard to say his first name correctly.
Gyotso.
Because I don't have anything in the middle of October. I don't have anything until Dragon Age, really. Whenever that comes in. So I guess I'm doing this Undisputed game that showed up yesterday. I guess no one likes boxing. I don't know anything about boxing.
Yeah,
it's not going to be a good review.
I haven't played a boxing game since Fight Night on the 360.
I did UFC, so I'm close enough.
Yeah, it's punching people in the face. You'll be fine.
Can't kick them, though.
Abdel114, new YouTube member in the chat. Thanks, J-Dubs. Is the rumor true that multiplayer paywall will be gone next gen? Well, it's not necessarily like we can't confirm that the rumor is true or not. But if you common sense, and granted, Microsoft aren't always the most common sense of companies, but if you are releasing a console that can sideload Steam or Epic or any other PC-centric store, sorry, someone just speeding past my house, and they wanted to buy a Microsoft game on that store, well, PC stores don't charge you for online multiplayer. Ergo, if you were going to buy a game, you would just buy everything from Steam. Ergo, you wouldn't need to pay for multiplayer, right? Mm-hmm. So Microsoft probably have to be thinking, if we go this route and make this handheld console of dreams where it can run all of these different multiplayer stores and have all these different third-party applications and stuff, we can't really charge people for online access anymore, because it kind of doesn't make sense at that point. I already think it's a silly thing to do now, but it gives good reasoning, and also it's a really pro marketing message for them if they choose to do that. But we'll see what happens in this new era that's coming. It feels like it was only 2019, like last year we were talking about the Xbox Series consoles, and here we are already fervently talking about the next gen.
Well, talking with Jason Ronald at Gamescom, and he's like, I don't think people realize how long these consoles take to make. Like, from the moment they had put out the series, they were probably already deep into the next gen. Like, they have to be. They have to tape things out and figure out and see where their partners are going, figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, what they're going to target. Like, it's a lot.
Yep.
That's why the PS5 Pro being done in such a short period of time makes you go, huh.
It is really fun talking to Jason Ronaldo, because, like, I know that there's a lot of fervent love for Mark Cerny in a lot of spaces. But Jason, having met him several times now, IRL, and spoken at length about the, strategies, he's very good at not saying what you want him to say, i.e. give me all the goss, Jace. He will speak towards what you're talking about and just talking grand ideas. But you can sense the passion coming off of the dude. Like, he cares about what he's building so much and about what that future is going to look like. And I can't fault that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Can't fault it. I'm hoping you've read your Discord, because I'm going to do this one next.
Do next. Okay.
In a new interview posted today on Games Industry Biz with Crafton, who recently purchased and rescued Tango Gameworks from closure. there's a long discussion between Games Industry Biz and head of corporate development Maria Park, who went into explaining the reasoning behind the company's move to acquire the former Microsoft studio and the future of Hi-Fi Rush. Now, what's interesting in here, and the reason I wanted to pull it out, and I would recommend go read it. This is from Matt Poskett, a contributor at gamesindustry.biz. But if you look on this website, and I'm going to go find the quote if I can. He says, would you like to bring Hi-Fi Rush to further platforms such as Nintendo Switch? Right. And this is the comment. That's what the team really wants. I think they want to work on Hi-Fi Rush DLC 2 because they're dedicated to ensuring that Hi-Fi Rush 2 upholds high standards of quality. They don't want to rush the sequel, but take the necessary time to refine the game and come up with a different experience. Hi-Fi Rush 2. And this is the really interesting bit. So the interviewers asked, hey, as part of the acquisition announcement, Krafton said it would continue developing the Hi-Fi Rush IP and explore future projects. Can you expand on this? Yes, the team was working on Hi-Fi Rush 2 when we first met them. They want to make sure it surpasses the expectations of the existing fans. For instance, some of the feedback about Hi-Fi Rush was that some people felt it was just going through factories, and now they want to give a more open world type of experience. I don't think it's going to be completely open world, but a more dynamic environment that you play in. Also, having more advanced technology applied to the rhythm action so it feels even more synchronized. That's pretty exciting news. I mean, that is effectively saying, hey, they're now working on Hi-Fi Rush 2.
It felt like... So Jason Schreier, I forget what podcast it was on, I think had said that essentially Microsoft came to Bethesda and said, you guys can make some cuts, and Bethesda chose Tango because they had nothing greenlit. Now, that doesn't mean they're not working on anything. They were essentially working on... It sounds like they were working on Hi-Fi Rush 2, hoping to get it fully greenlit to go. Because to get something fully greenlit and you're going ahead, you have to have something to show and pitch and all that. So yeah, hopefully it's not super far off, but if it takes its time, I'm fine with that. There's no shortage of games, and they were shut down for months and months, and we're very lucky to be revived thanks to the passion of a publisher who just has a lot of money that they're happy to put into cool shit, which was when video games are at their best, when it's less about the make money nonstop, and it is more... We're investing a ton, because that's kind of what happened around Concord and Firewalk. People keep saying that $400 million figure, and it was actually the company that they were a part of before Sony bought them, got a $200 million investment from someone who's like, just go make us stuff that's going to make a lot of money, obviously at that level, because when the money's flowing is when you get really cool shit, and there's less worry about the bottom line, and everything has to be a friggin' games as a service thing. Which is what Sony's kind of going through now, and they just canceled most of their games as a service, and so they got a big drought. So having at least a few publishers who have made ridiculous amounts of money on certain games, it won't be Epic, because Epic wasted all their Fortnite money on the goddamn metaverse, but Krafton with PUBG, they can buy someone like this and make something really cool, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah. I can see, I just want to comment on some comments in the chat from James Thomas asking if the comments that Jason Schreier made are going to be a topic today. I mean, we can talk about them now, seeing as we kind of walked into that, talking about what Jason Schreier had talked to. He's got a new book coming out, so he's doing Reddit Ask Me Anythings and Q&As. And
all the stories
stuff
people
like
hoped that he would say earlier, that he waited to make money off of.
Yeah. But he did talk about Xbox, and I think he appeared on that same podcast, Spawnwave.
It was.
He spoke about...
He had reporting, but then it was in a personal opinion on Xbox that everyone keeps taking as reporting. Yes,
yeah, correct. This is him. He didn't report on this officially. He was just having a conversation. But he's quoted as saying, they're just a disaster over there. It's really sad. And he pointed to constant flip-flopping over statements and decisions, with the company unsure of which direction's going. Xbox is such a mess right now. I feel their plan is changing every single year. Right now, they're talking about teasing handhelds over and over again, but who knows? A year ago, they were saying Indiana Jones was never coming to PlayStation. They change their minds every month. They're just a disaster over there. It's really sad. I mean,
do they talk about teasing handhelds?
Yeah, or do we talk about?
It's always the conflation of the insider game versus the actual corporate message, which you can say, yeah, they haven't given a ton of corporate message, but the actual disaster in messaging is almost always from insiders and shit. Like,
yeah, that is often the case. I mean, look, I would say that Microsoft, unfortunately, being a $1 trillion company, has, in my opinion, far too many middle management people that makes their own messes sometimes. But as Jesse rightly points out, people often get their knickers in a twist, so to speak, because of, this has leaked. And then people go, oh, Microsoft's messaging. And it's like, Microsoft haven't said anything yet.
Where the heck's the Gears collection, huh? Microsoft? And it's like, well, they've never ever said anything. Like they have
blame Special Nick.
They have legitimate issues you can go after, but then so much stuff that isn't public, that is rumors or insider things, and especially insiders who hear things from a handful of people at a company and then take that as gospel. It's like, it's always still anecdotal. The only messaging is their own. If they hang themselves, they hang themselves. Other than that, like, and like that podcast isn't the most, I would say, friendly place for the platform anyways, when it comes to discourse. Like, you're going with the flow quite a bit on it, and that flow is generally, if you say anything negative about PlayStation, you then must say something more negative about Xbox, type of balancing act that so many people seem to do. It's like, there's enough problems on the platform. You don't have to make them up. And it's like, if I could be a mess and make $6 billion a quarter, I'd be very happy. I do think there's always this conflation between what we want versus reality. And it's like all the people who don't cover Overwatch anymore and think Overwatch is dead. And it's like, no, it might be about as big as it's ever been. The Overwatch League is dead, if you want to talk about like the esports stuff.
Esports side of things.
But the actual like player count and how much money it makes and how its player count went up over 100 million players recently. Like, so many times what me and my friends are doing ends up becoming the general consensus in the games coverage industry instead of what reality actually is, because we can't know most of the time. We don't get those numbers. We can't really know, but we want to sound like we do. Jason will know way more than most people, but most of the people that are on those podcasts that he was on have no idea. They don't. They just put their personal preferences on everything.
I think Microsoft, they're definitely going through a massive amount of change internally. Acquiring a massive company like Activision Blizzard is going to do that. And coming off of
a COVID bubble has done it to everyone, if we want to be
that's true
generalized. But Microsoft is always under more of a microscope because they're a terrible company.
Even more so because, yes, you've completed Activision Blizzard, but it's not just a large acquisition. It's the largest acquisition Microsoft as a business has ever done. And it was in the gaming segment. So now, unfortunately, the GarageBand era days of Microsoft are gone. And not only are they going through this own internal struggle of like, hey, we need to change this messaging. We need to focus on these things now. And Phil's out there front and center saying, I need to focus on this as a business because that's my job. And I'm not making excuses for all of the firings. It's all sucky and shit. But the other big challenge that Microsoft has is what they are doing and the changes they are making are changing how the console industry has worked for the last 20, 30 years. They are changing it in themselves. They're not necessarily changing it for the industry, but they are themselves stepping out of the traditional way of doing things as a console platform holder and doing something different. Why are they doing that? Well, after 3 or 4 console generations and never achieving that first place and never really being able to fight back, especially after the Xbox One gen, where it's the worst gen to lose, they are like, okay, we're just gonna play a different game. And that is going to cause a lot of friction internally, which I think is where all of the leaks and all of the rumors and stuff comes from, because those internal people who might have joined Xbox as passionate fans, they're just as entrenched in this ideology of how the console industry should work as everybody is, as I am. And it is this huge sea change that is going to cause a lot of these massive wobbles.
It's one of the things
So I expect more carnage. I expect more, and I expect it to get more crazy. But then the dust will settle. They'll announce their new path forward, and then they'll have a solid plan.
That's what I was
It's
trying to tell
a
Nick.
sucky situation.
Like,
Yeah.
if people are leaking stuff to you, it's only because they're mad and they have an agenda to push. You can't just take everything they say as the truth. It might be. You just can't take that as that type of definitive statement. When it's like people who yell at me that how come your review is not objective, and I'm like, then it's not a review. It's just a list of facts, which gives no idea of what something is actually like. When someone gives you leaks, how they talk about it matters. Like, as Sparta said, the first points Jason made were about Horizon Online being the next title that Guerrilla's focusing on, and a sequel is pushed way back because they need those games as a service hits, and so they're doing Horizon Online. Everyone's been clamoring for it, I guess. So then you must balance it out with, and Xbox also sucks. And it's like PlayStation's everyone who. The casuals who own a PlayStation have called this gen garbage because they got so used to last gen. The end of it was just big hit after big hit after big hit, and they have not had that this gen, with most of those big hits being on both systems early on. Like, it was very obvious Returnal and Ratchet & Clank and Demon's Souls all could have worked on previous hardware. They just wanted some exclusives, and they really haven't gotten until a few this year where you've had really good ones like Helldivers, which could still work on last gen, and Astrobot, which could still work on last gen if they wanted them to. You could figure out a way. Like, there's been nothing to make it go, oh, you have to have this platform, especially when more and more of their stuff, like Helldivers, is on PC. But then people always feel they need to balance that Sony's having bad news by then immediately just saying everything about Xbox is bad and dead. And it's like, no, they've messed up a lot, but they're still making bajillions in money. They just want to make more bajillions. It's not that they are dying as a platform like Sega was. It's that they're trying to find a way to grow because they want to be bigger. They're not okay making more money than God. They want to make more money than God plus 10% of what they did last time. Like, that's always the thing. And people get so held up in, well, they're saying it's not good enough, and they're changing. Why? Because they're dying. It's like, no, they're changing because they want more. They're greedy. They're all super greedy, and they just want more.
Yeah, it's a bit miserable, really.
Said Nintendo, but they will
Nintendo
eventually.
Happy. I'm conscious of time.
Yeah, I know. You kept saying there's nothing. I'm like, no, there are things we'll definitely talk about.
There are things that we wax lyrical about. Next up in the news, Epic is back in the lawsuit world, and it's suing Google again, and Samsung as well. This is all because of a new app that's keeping stores off of Samsung phones, which is basically designed to protect the user from installing stuff from an unknown source. Samsung themselves have like an auto blocker, and it prevents them from installing the app. And really goes through a load of processes. It's a good thing, generally.
Most people who don't know how technology works, if they click on something and it ends up being an APK and it just automatically installs, it could be really bad. Not something that should be available.
Arguably, Samsung could just make an allowance for Epic in the auto blocker application, right? Automatically, because it's a trusted app.
Yeah.
But hey, Epic are going for it again. So they're taking them to court. It did win against Google in December last year, but they're now going for a second antitrust lawsuit. This is via Sean Hollister over at The Verge, and it revolves around this Samsung auto blocker feature, which now comes turned on by default on new Samsung phones. Now, me as a power user would just go in there and switch that off and say, yeah, install it anyway, leave me alone. But obviously they have to make the case here. There you go. It's exciting. I love seeing Epic throw money at these big monopolies to try and disable them. I mean, Microsoft has also they've announced recently they're retiring the Game Pass app and merging everything to the Xbox app,
except for
cloud streaming, because Apple say, no, you can't have that. You have to have each game as an individual app on the store, which is stupid. And this is a problem. And I think as the owners of the largest phone operating systems in the world, both Android and iOS deserve to be under the spotlight here, and they should make the changes that allow for competition across all of it. End of story. I don't see what judge wouldn't agree.
I still can't believe Google paid Reddit to not let anyone else scrape it.
That is crazy. I was wondering why I couldn't get any Reddit results on Bing. It's very silly and frustrating.
It is as dumb as it gets.
But good luck, Tim Sweeney. Good luck. Next up, a kind of sad / frustrating story.
Infuriating. So at first it was like, oh, that's sad. And then it's like, oh, wait, what? And then it's, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Indie publisher Merge Games is closing down after 15 years. This was back on the 26th of September. And they posted a statement on their official Twitter account stating that it was going to close its doors. After 15 years, Merge Games is closing down. Starting from a tiny cramped attic and growing to a tight, multidisciplined 22-person team, we've brought hundreds of indie gems to storefronts around the world and loved every moment. If you see someone from Merge, just know they're an incredible person that works their hardest. Thank you for the many years of gaming. Now, if you're wondering, I've never heard of Merge. They published numerous games from Dead Cells, Streets of Rage 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge as some examples. Anyway,
that
tweet went out. Then it disappeared. Right, it disappeared, and this is where it got kind of gross.
What's the pattern we see when a post goes up saying, "Oh, we're closing," or "Sorry to see you, goodbye, everyone"? It almost like it just happened with Game Informer, and then it was gone.
Replacing that tweet, which got lots of likes and thank you for your service kind of stuff, Maxim Entertainment, that owns Merge Games, said, "Hey, we're now integrated with Maxim Entertainment. The games you've come to love and those you look forward to will now be coming from us. For updates, please follow us on all social channels." And I deleted the original tweet, which is fucking gross. Like, that is gross behavior. And it turns out, they fired everyone at Merge Games.
Except for two.
Except for 2 people of that 22
people were fired.
That is so... Oh, it's... Ugh. Like, I don't understand how this is common sense. Just let people say thank you and goodbye by automatically deleting it. Like, what harm did that original post have? Now you've just tarnished your reputation and made you out to be an absolute dickhead, which, by the way, what you've done is absolute dickhead behavior. It's very, very silly. And gross. But there you go. Pour one out for Merge Games.
Very sad breaking news. Castlevania veteran and Bloodstained designer Shitaro Ida has stepped down from Bloodstained 2 development following a cancer diagnosis, as reported by VGC.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is depressingly sad news. Fingers crossed for him. Get better soon.
Yeah. Dikembe Mutombo just had brain cancer and died yesterday. Old NBA player. Mr. Fingerwag emote. It's like, cancer sucks. That's why a big thing on every year is the Extra Life campaign. A lot of those drives go towards things like cancer research and helping people out. So whether it's us or anyone else, if you got any spare change in these tight times, the Extra Life is a great place to put some of it.
Live stream on November 2nd, and apparently I would be turning up to relieve Jesse and give him a break and play something terrifying, no doubt.
It's funny, we haven't used Parsec since I got my internet back. It's probably
amazing. Right? I really want to see how it works. We need to organize a stream urgently. We'll get around to doing something perhaps next week. Next up in news, Amazon's Like a Dragon Yakuza has got a trailer.
I was thinking I'd show it, and I was like, oh wait, no, those always get pinged. I'm not going to show it.
Yeah, there's no point in us pinging it. If you want to watch it, you can go watch it. It's available on the Prime Video YouTube channel. This is a Japanese action drama that plunges you into the dark underworld of the Yakuza, exploring the universal theme of family, not only through bloodline, but through ties between Yakuza bosses and their underlings, orphans and their caretakers, as well as mentors and students.
I'll show still images of it.
Yeah.
I've
The
seen.
story unfolds across two timelines, 1995 and 2005. Interesting. Um,
So much yen.
it launches on October 24th, and it's available in original Japanese language with subtitles or with a dubbed voiceover.
I hope it's the really bad dub of the original Yakuza's, and they got like Mark Hamill back to do voices. It looks like Yakuza as much as you could in the real world, because I mean Yakuza is just a bunch of Japanese friggin' maps they made that they reuse all the time. I will say Kiryu is nowhere near the gigantic monster that he is in the game, but it is hard to find a great actor who's like friggin', I don't know, mid 6 feet tall and 250 pounds of pure muscle. The game goes over the top. Guy playing
Rightly
Majima
so.
looks like him. It's weird. I've seen people who are both ways. I've mostly seen pretty positive, because it is such a weird. It's a weird thing, like a dragon. It revels in how weird and progressive it is. Funnily enough, like for all of his violent faults, Kiryu is a very progressive guy who just wants people to be treated well and respectfully. Yeah, I am interested. I am curious if it goes into the realm of the weird. That is like Yakuza for many people, is how odd it can be. But like just out of nowhere, not forced. It's just kind of, what the hell is going on? This is crazy type of weirdness. So I will be curious how it is. And if they give me early access, because I get the most random early access from Amazon Prime ever since I signed up for Fallout. Amazon Prime and Paramount used to, they kind of stopped, but Amazon Prime just, I'll randomly get, here's a sheep herding show in Ireland, and here's some weird ass cake making thing, like very odd.
Why not? Maybe you'll get like a dragon. Maybe you should ask for it.
I got Batman Cape Crusader without asking. I was really happy about that one. So
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But yeah. Next up in news, via gamesindustry.biz. This is written by Sophie McAvoy, staff writer there. Tencent loans 15 million euros to Remedy. This funding will support ongoing development and self-publishing efforts. The finance will be converted to a maximum of approximately 811,110 new shares, representing 5.98% of all Remedy shares, and a convertible loan agreement. Remedy CEO Tero Vitala said the loan will support Remedy in development as it begins to self-publish its games. This loan is subject to the approval of the developer's extraordinary general meeting, which is expected to be held on October 24th, 2024. According to Remedy CEO, part of Remedy's long-term strategy has been to strengthen our position in the value chain, to have more control over how our games are commercialized, and to grow our share of the value those games can create. Wow, that's a big chunk of change.
These deals always make me feel bad, because Alan Wake 2 is amazing and didn't seem to make any money.
Yeah.
But it had the issue of not being on Steam, and PC users are always demanding Steam. So if you want to sell on there, Steam. It also didn't sell crazy numbers on console, even though it wasn't $70. I think it was 60. But yeah, it makes me sad. The game's amazing. They make a bunch of really good games that have never seemed to do great. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, how could they have let them get away at Microsoft?" But it was also like they
didn't do great under Microsoft either.
Their games don't sell, and they should. They're good. They've never had a bad one, unless you count like friggin' Crossfire X, which it really felt like they took to make some money.
Yeah, it was a contractual obligation and pretty much nothing more.
Yeah.
God, that game, I don't know. I have hopes for their Max Payne remasters, because Max Payne 1 and 2 I really, really, really loved as a kid. So, and Max Payne 3, even though it wasn't Remedy, was great. Mm-hmm. So, maybe we can hope.
It's that issue that people don't like good stuff and they don't pay for it.
Yeah.
I blame you.
Sounds about right. Don't blame me. I like good stuff most of the time.
No.
Next up in the news, the UK class lawsuit against Sony is set to go to trial in March of 2026. This is coming from WCCF Tech. It's been officially confirmed that the class lawsuit against Sony in the UK is set to go to trial on 2nd of March 2026, writes Amy Eastland. It's estimated that the trial will last for 8 weeks. For those unaware of what this trial is about, Sony is being sued for the unlawful behavior of charging out of proportion prices on their digital content, including add-ons. The lawsuit was created by Alex Neil, a person with nearly 20 years' worth of experience in consumer campaigns and trying to achieve change for UK consumers. Alex is a regular speaker at industry events regarding consumer issues and consumer rights across all sectors in the UK, and she's the sole director of Alex Neil Class Representative, which is a not-for-profit special purpose vehicle being used for the specific purpose of pursuing claims against Sony. Wow.
It's a long way off.
It's a long way off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, they're claiming that Sony is, while they're entitled to make a profit with their products, the claimant is alleging they're in breach of UK and EU competition law as they have a near monopoly on the sale of digital games.
Yeah, you can't buy digital codes from anyone except for them. So, like,
Yeah.
you can't.
You can
know,
go buy credit
Mhm.
gift cards, but you can't buy the game directly from Sony.
Yeah, like you can't go to any stores and get a digital code. You can't do them online. It's all controlled by them. You can do it with Microsoft. You can do it with Nintendo. I don't know that. Oh, you can definitely do it with Steam. Like Fanatical and Humble and all those are almost always Steam codes. Like pretty much every one of the major stores gives you the
Xbox
option.
lets you buy games as opposed to codes. Not for
Mhm.
every game, I don't think, but they do.
Most stores now in America that carry games have an Xbox digital card section over a physical one because they're fewer and fewer are carrying anything physical. So
Yep.
you have your accessories, and you got a bunch of digital card code friggin' things, and that's about it.
Well, there you go. Wow. Good luck with that. I
In
guess
2
roll on
years.
2026.
Yeah.
And that's not the last PlayStation focused story of today. This is Insider Gaming reporting that PlayStation will use AI and machine learning to speed up game development. I hope Alana Pierce is okay with that because I remember she was staunchly against AI and machine learning for use in the games. But in a new Sony corporate report, writes Tom Henderson, Sony has revealed that PlayStation will use AI and machine learning to speed up its game development. On page 16 of that report, Sony had that bolstering technologies that can help creators engage in maximizing the value of their IP in efficient, high-quality ways, including sensing and capturing, as well as real-time 3D processing, AI, and machine learning, and that these technologies will help deliver its IP rapidly and at a lower cost to a broader range of fans. Honestly, I don't. Fine. It's a technology. This happens all the time. It's
not going anywhere.
Necessarily a bad thing.
It comes down entirely to how is it implemented and do they use it as an excuse to fire people, which invariably most companies
Then get mad.
will. Like, is it going to be something that they do specifically so they can make you do twice the work because you can do twice the output now? Or is it everyone can do their work more easily and efficiently, and that's the focus, which is what Microsoft keeps saying, but we'll see how they do it as well. No clue with Sony. I don't think Nintendo will ever jump too hard into it. Like, Nintendo has found their niche of not pushing tech super hard and focusing on gameplay. That is their thing. Make things look pretty, make them look timeless. Don't go for realism pretty much ever. There's just no point because you have to keep spending more and more money to keep up with that realism. So PlayStation definitely put themselves in an arm race on graphics. I think Microsoft is still a part of it because they have things that are coming out that are the most photorealistic you could imagine with Hellblade and with Flight Sim.
Fable looks freaking incredible.
But it's also hyper stylized in a way. Like also Gears was never photoreal. It was still big beefy men who are eating like 700 pounds of meat a week to keep up all that body mass. Halo was never photorealistic, but then they did get pretty realistic with like the pilot's face and stuff in the new one. So I do hope that there is more of a trend for going for timeless looks and less focus on hyperrealism. You can have your companies and your the artist style ones who are pushing a narrative that really needs that type of fidelity, like Hellblade 2 was a better game because it had that fidelity. It was built around it. I don't think most fun games need that, though. Like, they're not built to be that as the experience. They are built to be a video game that's very fun to play. Give me more Astrobots from PlayStation and fewer Horizons. And that's not to say Horizon's bad or anything like that. It just felt like even with Ghost of Yotei and God of War Ragnarok, like they had fallen into that very Gears Forza Horizon, you're getting these set things from us over and over again. And it's been nice seeing Helldivers and Astrobot, and I hope they keep that up, because that's when they were my favorite for their first party, was more the experimental early PlayStation 3 and not the late, oh shit, Uncharted and The Last of Us took off. Let's kind of start working on that, and halfway through the PS4 gen, that's all we do. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that's not what their AI and machine learning push ends up leading to, is more of that. Still me. Wow, you were talking and muted, and I didn't say anything.
I know.
I thought you get it.
I was multitasking because Yozo Fairy Empire just released a new review on XboxEra.com for Matchbox Driving Adventures, which is driving around Matchbox cars. And we were just testing our Threads connection. That's right. Because Twitter is rapidly going down the toilet, even though we've got a sizable following there, we are on Threads too, right? So I turned on the auto sharing from our back end of our website, and it wasn't working. And I just found there's a little tick box if you expand the menu that says the connection is now available to all administrators, editors, and authors, and not just me. So I've checked that box now. It should work.
We just feel free to go read the review. Uncheck that box whenever they're doing SEO work.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Pretty much it for the news. It's always a pleasure to catch up with everybody and see you all in the chat. So thank you, especially to J-Dubs for giving us 10 more awesome YouTube Xbox Era members. As always, we appreciate every single one of you and all the support that you give to keep fiercely independent publications like Xbox Era alive and well in this ever increasingly hostile environment where it is difficult to survive and thrive. However, thriving we are thanks to you guys. So we owe you a big lot, as they say. We'll be back on Thursday for more headlines. In terms of upcoming content this week, well, Jesse's just published the review for Shattered Space. It was available late yesterday. I think it's the first one out.
We got little breaking news. There's another Spike Chunsoft game coming to. Is it Spike Chunsoft? So Master Detective Archives Raincode had only hit. Spike Chunsoft had only hit Switch. And now another first one I can remember in a long time. Master Detective Archives is coming to PlayStation 5, Steam, and Xbox Series consoles. Spike had not put anything on Xbox since I think I did the visual novel game that I freaking fell in love with. The weird ass one. I can't remember the name of. Nirvana Initiative. God, the whole name I can't remember. God, those are good. Those games are amazing. If you don't like visual novels, doesn't matter. Those are the best ones. But yeah, Spike Chunsoft coming back to Xbox. Everyone putting their games everywhere.
Times are changing.
What do you know? Games everywhere is a good thing.
It is. It is a good thing. I love having games everywhere. As always, folks, be good to each other over the next couple of days. Play video games. Have fun. Relax. Get involved in the conversation on our Discord. Discord.gg/XboxEra, especially you new YouTube members and Xbox Era patrons. And obviously, we have our forums, forum.xboxera.com. You can get involved there too and shitpost to your heart's content. But be careful. The moderators are militant. We'll be back on Thursday for more headlines. Until then, be safe. We'll see you next time. Ciao for now.
Arrivederci.
you.